The silence before the storm. The city had been quiet for days. Too quiet. From my vantage point atop the crumbling observation tower, I could see the skeletal remains of skyscrapers piercing the pale gray fog like jagged teeth. Smoke still drifted from shattered streets, but no life stirred below. Not a single vehicle. Not a single voice, just the faint hum of distant generators and the occasional creak of ruined steel. They had warned us this day would come. The Council had sent word months ago. Humanity would be pushed to the brink. But even in my worst nightmares, I hadn't imagined the silence would feel so complete. I tightened my grip on the rusted railing, scanning the horizon. The clouds hung low, swollen with an unnatural weight, blotting out the sun. Something about them felt alive, watching, patient. Then, without warning, a faint pulse of light split the clouds. At first, I thought it was a trick of the fog, a reflection, a mirage. But the pulse repeated, faster, stronger, and then came the sound, a high-pitched, almost metallic wail that made my teeth ache. It was coming from the sky. The city, silent for so long, suddenly felt exposed, vulnerable. I wasn't alone. Shadows moved along the ruined streets below, indistinct forms creeping from alley to alley. Were they scavengers? Survivors? Or something else entirely? My instincts screamed to run, to hide, but my legs refused. I had to see. The light flared again, brighter this time, and I realized it wasn't random. Beams of energy, human-made. I recognized the pattern, erupted from the ruins of our weapon platforms. Long abandoned. These supercannons had been humanity's last attempt to defend the city. But no one had fired them in months. Until now. The beams ripped through the clouds with blinding intensity, and the sky responded. A storm of color exploded above. Violet and gold streaks arcing through the gray, accompanied by a thunderous roar that shook the tower beneath my feet. For a moment I feared the weapons themselves had gone mad, detonating in a fury they were never meant to wield. Then I saw it. In the gaps between the energy pillars, silhouettes moved, creatures of light and shadow, enormous, unnatural, descending through the storm. They didn't walk. They didn't fly. They glided, as if the atmosphere itself bent to carry them. I swallowed hard. Humanity had fallen silent, yes, but perhaps it had only been waiting for this exact moment for the sky to remember our fury. A tremor ran through the ground. Dust and debris rattled loose from nearby towers. My heartbeat quickened. I realized with a chilling certainty, whatever had survived this long night, whatever had watched silently from the ruins, had just begun to fight back. And somehow, I knew that whatever emerged from the clouds was not here to negotiate. Humanity fights back. The first wave hit before dawn. Shadows fell over the city like a moving darkness, stretching from the clouds down to the cracked streets. The creatures, tall, angular forms of glimmering metal and strange, organic textures, descended silently at first. Then came the sound, a deep, resonant hum that vibrated through every bone in my body. It was alien, impossible, and terrifying. I ducked behind the remnants of a collapsed overpass, heart hammering. The abandoned supercannons that had lain dormant for months were now alive, humming with power as if awakened by some unseen command. Panels lit up in eerie green and amber, systems booting themselves automatically. Something had flipped the switch. From my perch, I watched the first beam fire. The cannon rose slowly from the ruins, energy coalescing at its tip. When it discharged, the air itself seemed to split apart. A bolt of blinding white energy lanced through the fog, striking one of the descending creatures. Its body flared, reflecting brilliant colors as it screamed. Not a scream I could hear, but one I could feel vibrating in my chest. Then it fell, shattering into shards that rained down like glass. That's when humanity's message became clear. We were not done. More cannons came online, one after another. Beams erupted from rooftops, alleyways, and underground platforms. The city itself had become a weapon. Even abandoned drones activated, joining the assault, firing streaks of light into the sky. Every ruined building was now a vantage point, every street a trap. And yet the creatures kept coming. They were fast, precise, and terrifyingly coordinated. For every one that fell, another took its place, gliding through the air as if the storm itself carried them. But the humans who remained, those who had survived the silence, moved like shadows. We had trained for moments like this, and now that the enemy was here, the city seemed to awaken under our command. I ran across a collapsed plaza, dodging falling debris and sparks from ruptured cables. My rifle felt heavy but steady in my hands. I lined up a shot, aiming at a creature descending toward a cluster of survivors huddled in the ruins of a theater. The cannon above fired simultaneously, and together our combined strike tore the alien apart mid-air. A strange exhilaration washed over me. We were beaten, abandoned, left for dead, but humanity had one last voice. And that voice was screaming back at the sky. Then over the hum of weapons and storm I heard it, a whisper in my mind. Not my own, not human. It was sharp, deliberate, almost amused. "Impressive," it said. "But can you survive what's coming?" I froze, pulse racing. Whoever or whatever spoke, it wasn't afraid. And that meant the fight was far from over. As the sky blazed with energy, I realized something I hadn't known before. Humanity's last city wasn't just defending itself. We were waking. And the storm above? It had just become our battlefield. The sky screamed back. The storm had taken shape above us. Lightning crackled through the clouds. But it wasn't ordinary lightning, it was colored, alive, responding to the energy we unleashed. Every beam from our cannons seemed to strike not just at the creatures, but at the sky itself, and in return, the clouds roared back in fury. I sprinted across a street lined with shattered buildings, weaving between the survivors who had taken up arms. Everyone moved with a singular purpose: fight. Humanity's last city had transformed from ruins into a war machine. Every rooftop, every broken tower, every corridor became a node of resistance. The alien forms, tall, glimmering, and impossibly fast, descended in larger waves than before. But now we had learned their patterns, their rhythm. Beams of energy from our super weapons met theirs mid-air in blinding collisions, exploding in showers of sparks and fragments. The air smelled of ozone, burning metal, and the acrid tang of scorched concrete. I climbed onto a collapsed observation deck and fired my rifle at a creature gliding low over the plaza. It faltered for a moment as one of the city's cannons struck it directly, and I could see the strange liquid inside it ripple and glow before it shattered completely. Then the whisper came again, louder this time. "You think you can stop it?" I knew it wasn't just one entity. It was the storm itself, or perhaps the intelligence controlling the creatures. My mind raced, and a single thought struck me with clarity. Survival wasn't enough. We had to take the fight to the sky. The largest cannon in the city, a colossal structure half buried, in the rubble of the central square, activated automatically, its energy core thrumming like a heartbeat. The survivors around me scrambled into position. We had one chance. One strike that could end this. With a deep breath, I triggered the cannon's targeting system. Beams of pure white and gold energy coalesced, forming a spear of light aimed directly at the heart of the storm. The sky screamed in response, a violent, deafening sound that made my ears ring. Clouds twisted, lightning danced, and the alien shape swirled in panic as the energy spear ripped through them like a blade through silk. For a moment, the world went silent again. Then, one by one, the remaining creatures fell from the sky, dissolved into fragments of light, their hum fading. The storm itself seemed to recede, clouds breaking apart as if acknowledging defeat. We stood on the cracked streets, drenched in sweat, blood, and energy residue. The city was in ruins but alive. Humanity's last city had survived. And somewhere deep in the sky, I felt it, the echo of intelligence that had tested us, and the knowledge that it now feared what humanity could do. I raised my gaze to the clouds, still glowing faintly with residual energy, and whispered to the wind, "We're not done. And you will remember that." The silence returned, but it was no longer oppressive. It was triumphant. Humanity had spoken, and the sky finally had screamed back.